The Tesla Roadster that rode SpaceX's Falcon Heavy rocket into space Tuesday afternoon seems poised to overshoot its mark, with company CEO Elon Musk tweeting a diagram showing that the car's current trajectory will take it beyond Mars and into the asteroid belt in its planned orbit around the Sun. But experts nonetheless predicted smooth sailing for the cherry-red convertible and the spacesuit-wearing mannequin, Starman, positioned behind the wheel. Even in the asteroid belt, it seems the car is unlikely to encounter anything beyond ultraviolet radiation, cosmic rays and other highly charged particles, and the occasional micrometeoroid. Dr. Seth Shostak, senior astronomer at the SETI Institute in Mountain View, California, told NBC News Mock in an email, "Exposure to all of this would be unhealthy for humans but will only very slowly degrade the Roadster and its rider." Indeed, this car is surely destined to rack up billions of miles before disaster hits, if it does. Shostak said disaster could come in the form of a collision with Earth or Mars or possibly an asteroid. But he estimated that the spacefaring Roadster has less chance of a collision each year than all the Roadsters plying the highways of Earth put together. With no oxygen and no water, there's no chance that the Roadster will rust. Dr. Jim Bell, a planetary scientist at Arizona State University and the president of the Planetary Society said, "But given the ongoing exposure to UV light, the car's paint will start to fade over time just as any car does here in Phoenix in the desert." In a press conference held after the launch, Musk said he expected the car to be out there in space for maybe millions or billions of years. But Bell isn't so sure. He said that at some point, perhaps 50 to 100 years from now, it will be a juicy target for salvage, and someone will mount a new space mission to recapture the Roadster and bring it back to Earth. He said, if Elon is still alive, he might want the car back. Until then, the Roadster has a lot of traveling to do. SpaceX hasn't publicly announced precisely where the Roadster is at this point in what will become a highly elliptical orbit around the Sun. But Dr. Nahum Arav, a Virginia Tech physicist who works with NASA, told Mock in an email that his rough calculations show that as of 3:40 p.m. ET today the car had traveled about 450,000 miles from Earth, or roughly twice the distance from Earth to the Moon. He said it would take at least 6 months for the car to cross the orbit of Mars, as shown in the trajectory Musk tweeted.
The Nissan Leaf will remain the best-selling electric car in the world, at least that's the opinion of the Japanese brand. Speaking at a regional forum hosted by Nissan in Singapore, the brand's director of electric vehicle business, Nicholas Thomas, said the Leaf is unlikely to be surpassed as the most popular electric car on sale. This is despite an influx of upcoming models from new rivals such as Tesla, Hyundai and Mercedes-Benz. Thomas said, "We've sold more than 350,000 cars around the world. We are the leading electric vehicle manufacturer around the world. We've sold more than anybody else." The Nissan Leaf is already the world's best-selling electric vehicle, and now with this new version we're introducing, we're very confident that we are going to continue that position and keep going with a fantastic product. The first-generation Leaf, originally introduced in 2010, attracted 300,000 customers. Nissan's other 50,000 sales stem from electric commercial vans. Thomas said 40,000 customers have pre-ordered the new Leaf, which arrives in Australia this year. That pales in comparison to more than 518,000 people around the world who pre-ordered Tesla's upcoming Model 3, its most affordable model. But Thomas remains convinced the Leaf will outsell competition from Tesla, alluding to the American brand's well-documented assembly and delivery problems described by Chief Executive Elon Musk as production hell. Thomas said, "I'm convinced I can build and sell those very quickly. We are delivering cars to customers in Japan. We are delivering cars to customers in Europe. We are just about to begin delivering cars to customers in the US, Canada, the rest of the region as we've announced. Am I worried about the competition? No, not at all. The new Leaf is powered by an electric motor that sends 110 kilowatts and 320 Nm outputs to the front wheels, allowing for an 0 to 100 km/h time of 7.9 seconds. Nissan says a lab-tested maximum range of 400 km translates to around 270 km of real-world driving. Many customers will be able to go about their business by charging it once per week. Tipped to be priced between $50,000 and $60,000, the Leaf features a ProPilot driver assistance system. Thomas says is ahead of the competition. ProPilot is a fantastic system to drive. In city traffic and highway traffic, the car will completely steer for you, even around curves. It will stop, it will start, it will hold its speed against a vehicle that it's following, it will hold its speed on an open highway. You have complete control of the vehicle, you are still in charge of the vehicle. But the vehicle will support you in those driving experiences. Of course there are some limits to that, but we really do find on practical tests that the ProPilot system is one of the best. It's able to follow a vehicle around curves. I've driven a number of self-driving systems that, as soon as you get into any radius of bend, immediately give up and suddenly you have to take over the driving. I have not experienced that with ProPilot. It's a much more advanced system. But Drive Stephen oddly sampled the system during a brief steer of the system in Japan, finding that Nissan's Assistance Suite is far from an autopilot system the name implies. He found that far from an autonomous system, like that offered in the latest Mercedes-Benz E-Class or Tesla, ProPilot is closer to an adaptive cruise control system combined with lane-keeping assist. Those considering ProPilot should be aware of its limitations. The new Nissan Leaf arrives in Australia in December.
Subaru is one of the smallest global automakers, and to develop new plug-in hybrid and all-electric technology, they can't do it alone. A report from Automotive News says Subaru will join forces with Toyota, Mazda, Suzuki, Daihatsu, and Hino. Subaru is developing a new plug-in hybrid this year, and an all-electric model that's supposed to launch in 2021. The new PHEV all-wheel drive vehicle will be built on an existing Subaru model's platform that has yet to be announced. The report says the model is coming from Japan, so it's likely a Crosstrek or Forester model built at the Gunma factory in Japan. Subaru Chief Technical Officer, Takeshi Takamori says, Subaru's plug-in hybrid will pull largely from the Toyota Prius Prime system. Toyota owns 16.5% of Subaru, so this would make sense from a business standpoint for both Japanese automakers. Subaru will launch a new hybrid model in the US later this year and is using Toyota technology to do it. Takamori said, for our plug-in hybrid to be introduced this year, we have used Toyota's technologies as much as possible. Up until now, Subaru doesn't have an all-electric or hybrid model in their lineup since they discontinued the Crosstrek hybrid in 2016. Takamori said Subaru's participation with Toyota, Mazda, Suzuki, Daihatsu, and Hino will help streamline their PHEV and EV development. But Subaru is still their own brand and is not copying Toyota 100%. Subaru has their own in-house electrification project, will use the Toyota Prius Prime technology, but will use their own Subaru Boxer engine, rather than the Prius Prime's transversely mounted Toyota power plant. The Boxer engine is one of Subaru's core values they aren't willing to change. Takamori said Subaru's new plug-in hybrid coming this year, will be sold only in the US to comply with California's zero-emission vehicle regulations. To get an idea of what's coming from Subaru, we can look at Prius Prime's efficiency. It gets an EPA estimated 133 mpg, 640 miles total driving range and 54 combined mpg. Toyota says it also comes with 25 miles of EV mode driving range. Prius Prime can be charged with a standard household outlet and charges in less than 5 hours 30 minutes. What's next is a plug-in hybrid model built on an existing model in the lineup, likely the new 2018 Subaru Crosstrek or Forester coming late this year. An all-electric model is being developed now and is due out in 2021. Takemura said Subaru has sent 5 engineers to work at the venture with their newly formed Auto Alliance partnership.